Did you forget who I am?
Hi guys, let's get ready to transform and roll out, because in today's video, we will introduce you to some of the most powerful Transformers from the movies. The Transformers films gave us some iconic baddies and legendary heroes, and here's everything you need to know about them. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Unicron. To start the list, we have Unicron, the godlike transformer who eats planets for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a legend that precedes the dawn of our civilizations, a vile god so large and so powerful that it consumed entire planets as fuel. Few believed such a thing could be true until the day we saw Unicron with our own eyes. That's how Optimus Primal described the sinister planet-devouring entity, who destroys celestial bodies to satiate its unquenchable thirst for energy. "My hunger is killing me" is perhaps the most spine-chilling expression that sums up this ominous transformer. Fans got a sneak peek of Unicron in 2017's Transformers film The Last Knight. In that movie, Unicron formed the core of the Earth, with the planet growing around the Transformers billions of years ago. The dormant Unicron's horns jutted out of the surface, growing 3 meters every day, when its longtime enemy, planet Cybertron, moved into Earth's solar system. However, 2023's Rise of the Beasts showed Unicron to be separately located from Earth and established it as the most powerful villain not just in the Transformers franchise, but in every other monster lore. Unicron feasted on the planet of the Maximals, forcing them to time travel from the future and flee to a prehistoric Earth in the past. Unicron then assigned the Terrorcon and Predacon forces to retrieve the transwarp key from the Maximals from Earth. "Once I have the key, I alone will reign supreme," he said. But his minion, Scourge, only managed to get half, incurring the wrath of his master. When the other half of the key was procured, Scourge opened a time-space portal for Unicron to come through and devour all planets everywhere, starting with Earth. Our good old Optimus Prime saved the day by destroying the portal and stranding Unicron in its time and space. Unicron, floating around in the universe, can time travel and switch through the multiverse. To convey the humongousness of this evil transformer, Unicron was designed to move at an immensely slow pace. The menacing clicking noise it makes before gulping down an entire planet signifies the nerve-wracking countdown to extinction. Unicron is capable of enslaving other Transformers and torturing them through telekinesis like he did when Scourge failed to retrieve the key. Unicron has a corrupted version of Energon as its lifeblood and can grant powers to other Transformers by manipulating this dark energy. When Optimus Prime was about to destroy the portal, Unicron attempted to lure Prime with the promise of anything he wanted. In Rise of the Beasts, the joint efforts of Autobots and Maximals could only thwart Unicron's initial attack on Earth, which means the gluttonous monstrosity will be back for more in future films. In the Transformers lore, Unicron is the brother and arch-enemy of Primus, who takes the planet form of Cybertron.
I am Quintessa, the prime of life.
Quintessa. Next up, we have Quintessa, the floating Transformers sorceress with tentacles for a lower body and the guts to smack Optimus Prime. Quintessa, one of the two main antagonists of the 2017 film The Last Knight, claimed to be the creator of the Cybertronian race, the prime of life, and a god of the Transformers. Being a mechanical witch, Quintessa was far more powerful than any other Cybertronian, and Gemma Chan's hypnotic voice added to the otherworldly vibe of this dark deity. A millennia ago, Quintessa was betrayed by her 12 knights, who stole her staff of power and hid it on Earth, which was built around Unicron, as we mentioned earlier. After Cybertron collapsed in on itself during the events of 2011's Dark of the Moon, Quintessa decided to restore her home planet with her mystical powers and created an army of her demonic followers, the Infernocons, to help her rebuild Cybertron. She converted Galvatron into one of the deadliest villains of the Transformers film series, Megatron, her personal Dark Knight. When Optimus Prime ventured into space in search of his creator, he chanced upon Quintessa and was almost immediately restrained by her cryptic powers. "You dare to strike your god?" she said. She reprimanded Optimus for the war that's destroyed Cybertron and issued the following threat: "Your war doomed Cybertron. You are going to fix it or the race of Transformers dies forever. I made you. You are mine to command." Quintessa brainwashed Optimus and created its dark counterpart, Nemesis Prime, to do her bidding. With her staff of power retrieved by Megatron, Quintessa intended to drain off Unicron's life essence, and in turn, Earth's geothermal energy to revive Cybertron, which has moved into Earth's solar system by now. Just when it seemed Quintessa had the upper hand in the war, Bumblebee launched a fiery attack, and Quintessa disappeared in a spark of energy. She reappeared on Earth later in the guise of a mystical woman and had sneaky plans of finishing off Unicron. Quintessa exhibited a gamut of impressive abilities. She could stun her opponents with energy blasts like she did during her first meeting with Optimus Prime. She fired bolts of electrical energy at him during their final clash. Through telekinesis, she was able to restrain Optimus with a giant chain in the blink of an eye. When her opponents are restrained, Quintessa uses her sorcery to reprogram the Transformers into wicked incarnations and mind control them, and they would then obey her commands. As she is the creator, she can alter the physiology of the Transformers like she did when converting Galvatron into Megatron, creating him in the image of her guardian knights. Once she landed on Earth, Quintessa used holographic cloaking to assume the identity of a woman. The Fallen. Next up, we have the Fallen, the vengeful Decepticon who wanted to harvest the power of the sun. He is the first Decepticon and the leader of this villainous race who corrupted Megatron and created the Decepticons. Eons ago, the Fallen and his Prime brothers managed to construct the Star Harvester, but his efforts to destroy Earth were thwarted by the Primes in order to protect the sanctity of life on Earth. The Primes sacrificed themselves to conceal the matrix of leadership within their bodies, and the Star Harvester was entombed in a pyramid, which later came to be discovered in Egypt. Several millennia later, the Fallen wanted to complete his disastrous mission of devouring the sun and slaughtering Optimus Prime. For millennia, I have dreamed of my return to the wretched planet, where I too was once betrayed by the Primes I called my brothers. Only a Prime can defeat me, and now only one remains. In 2009's Revenge of the Fallen, the titular villain commanded his disciple Megatron, the overarching villain of the Transformers series, to track down the Allspark. The arrival of the Fallen and his army of Decepticons made for an epic scene in the movie. And with Optimus seemingly dead, the Fallen declared revenge was finally his. The Fallen had the appearance of a metal cage that housed the burning forces of chaos, which drained him of empathy and turned him into pure evil. The Fallen harbored great hatreds towards humans, calling them insects and their planet a wretched place. The Fallen can generate weapons, vehicles, or structures from other materials and uses a shock spear in combat. He converted the remains of a pyramid into fighter jets to oppose an attack on himself and Megatron, and also to protect the Star Harvester inside the pyramid. He has extreme durability and can live on for millennia with severe damages, that too without aging. Using telekinesis, this Decepticon leader destroyed entire military forces and created a barrier of debris to prevent an airstrike. The Fallen possesses supernatural reflexes, which enables it to anticipate enemy attacks, thus making him almost unbeatable. This ability enabled him to attack Optimus even before the Prime could reach him, thus drawing Optimus away from the Star Harvester. The Fallen can levitate and cause massive shockwaves at its landing spot, such as upon his first arrival when it destroyed an entire spacecraft carrier on the ocean. Optimus Prime. Now comes Optimus Prime, the most legendary Transformer ever. Optimus Prime has appeared in every film of the series, and we're glad he did, because he pretty much saved the day every single time. Optimus Prime has died many deaths, but always revived by his friends, and every time, he's come back stronger. Optimus's charisma and influence is summed up in this conversation when Crosshairs says, "Ah, you just want to die for the guy. That's leadership." or brainwashing or something. And Drift responds, no, that's Optimus Prime. Optimus's biggest strength is his wisdom and compassion, even in the face of extreme danger. He is even known to have spared his arch-enemy Megatron once. Optimus believes we can be heroes in our own lives, every one of us, if we only have the courage to try. Originating as Orion Pax, Optimus is the leader of the Autobots who was mentored by the reversed Sentinel Prime and became head of the scientific division on Cybertron. He played a key role in the final Cybertronian War, standing up against his Decepticon brother Megatron, who was corrupted by the Fallen. In the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots, Sentinel Prime and his Ark were lost in space, prompting Optimus to launch the Allspark into deep space to prevent the Decepticons from laying their hands on it. As Cybertron turned into a wasteland, the Autobots, led by Optimus, fled to Earth and began their search for the Allspark. On Earth, Optimus, the last surviving Prime, assumes the form of a huge trailer truck and befriends the first human protagonist, Sam Witwicky. Having fought alongside the humans, Optimus Prime summed up his respect for his newfound human allies in his iconic tagline, "I have witnessed their capacity for courage, and though we are worlds apart, like us, there's more to them than meets the eye." Optimus is an excellent combatant who is trained in all sorts of firearms and whose sword-wielding skills are iconic, especially his Energon sword, until they were destroyed by Galvatron, following which Optimus wielded the Sword of Judgment. In addition to his superhuman durability and strength, Optimus was immune to bullets, punctures, and concussions. Among other physical feats, Optimus was strong enough to topple the T-Rex version of Grimlock. He is a remarkable battle strategist, and his intelligence is rivaled only by his criminal brother Megatron. As a Cybertronian scientist, Optimus has unparalleled knowledge of Cybertronian technology. He has the ability to be aware of events from the past and future. Optimus is a walking arsenal in himself, with his collection including weapons such as ion blasters, barrage cannons, dual energon swords, jet-wing gun pods, shields, missiles, and knuckle spikes. Optimus has only ever been bested by the likes of Sentinel Prime and Lockdown on a few occasions.
We were brothers.
Megatron, Galvatron. Now it's time to meet Megatron, the ultimate villain of the Transformers franchise. This deadly Decepticon first appeared in the 2007 Transformers movie and has continued to trouble Earth and the Autobots through the franchise. Every time Megatron is defeated by his adoptive brother Optimus, he comes back stronger and with a meaner agenda. In the film series, looking for the Allspark lost in space, Megatron crash-landed on Earth and remained frozen in the Arctic until he was discovered by Sam Witwicky's ancestor first, and then by the US government. He was kept in cryostasis in a hidden location, with the humans engineering advanced devices from his frozen structure. Megatron was eventually freed, and he tore down Mission City, Nevada while chasing the Allspark. After Megatron was thrown into the Laurentian Abyss by Optimus in the first Transformers movie, he was revived and returned to do the Fallen's bidding in the sequel. In the face of defeat, he abandoned the war, only to return again in the Dark of the Moon. During the course of this film, having had enough of Megatron, Optimus decided to behead the Decepticon leader and end the war once and for all. In Age of Extinction, when Kinetic Solutions Incorporated salvaged Megatron's head and modeled a human-made robot Galvatron after Optimus Prime, Megatron's brain, still alive inside the severed head, tweaked the final form to appear in the likeness of his former self. In the garb of Galvatron, Megatron remained set on his mission of conquering Earth, but after he was almost one-upped by Optimus, he was forced to disappear into space once again. In the last night, Galvatron was resurrected as Megatron by Quintessa, but he suffered a disastrous fate as Optimus delivered a final blow, seemingly killing him. Despite his defeats, the Decepticon leader was tougher than all Autobots, except Optimus Prime. He was strong enough to throw around Optimus and assault Sentinel Prime, durable enough to survive Optimus's Iron Blaster and Energon sword blows, powerful enough to sustain Jazz's Crescent Cannon and his own fusion cannon blasts, and swift enough to outmaneuver Optimus. Like Optimus, Megatron also had an impressive collection of weapons, but they are much more deadly than the Autobot leaders. For example, Megatron's telescopic fusion cannon, whose firepower launched Optimus into a building and blasted him through a forest. The fusion cannons are Megatron's signature weapons, which got several upgrades throughout the film series. His pincer claws are capable of piercing Cybertronian armor like Optimus Prime's body. With his heat core, Megatron also managed to disintegrate Optimus's old Energon sword.
Our planet will survive. No!
Sentinel Prime. Next up, we have the legendary Sentinel Prime, who once served as the leader of the Autobots and Optimus's guide on Cybertron, till the war between the Autobots and Decepticons wore him out, and he secretly joined forces with Megatron. What you must realize, my Autobot brothers, is we were never going to win the war. For the sake of our planet's survival, a deal had to be made with Megatron, explained Sentinel Prime. When the war was raging on in Cybertron, Sentinel left the planet with the pillars that could revive Cybertron. His Ark later crash-landed on the moon, and he remained sealed within the Ark's vault for several millennia. In Dark of the Moon, Optimus revived Sentinel Prime, who kept his former plan a secret and began seeking the pillars with the aid of the Autobots. Showing his true colors, Sentinel opened a portal and paved the way for Decepticon troops to pour in on Earth and destroy the planet so that Cybertron is revived. His treacherous behavior led to a battle of the Primes, with the Master defeating his former pupil. With the pillars, Sentinel created a teleportation space bridge and dragged Cybertron into Earth's orbit. However, he was opposed by Optimus, who shut down the control pillar and enraged his mentor once again. Optimus was almost killed by Sentinel before Megatron intervened, who was concerned that Sentinel would become the leader of the Decepticons. Optimus, all I ever wanted was the survival of our race. You must see why I had to betray you. This explanation had no effect on Optimus, who blasted Sentinel in the chest, killing him in the same manner as Sentinel killed Ironhide, thus avenging the death of his trusted ally. Sentinel Prime posed the most dangerous threat to Earth, as he came closest to his plan of destroying the planet and reviving Cybertron in the process. Sentinel had almost killed Optimus and was only defeated because of Megatron's betrayal. Sentinel Prime was an excellent combatant with 2 wins against Optimus. Sentinel also managed to pin down Megatron and remind him who's boss. Sentinel Prime, who led Cybertron when it was the most prosperous planet in the galaxy, was only concerned with reviving his home planet, an agenda which made him switch to the dark side. This good-turned-evil Transformer came equipped with the Cosmic Rust Gun, Primax Blade, and Cybertronian Shield, and assumed the form of a fire truck on Earth. Lockdown. Another Transformer who can brag about having defeated Optimus Prime not once, but twice, is the atrocious Lockdown. In Transformers lore, Lockdown is the dreaded bounty hunter that roams the universe and locks up conquests inside his massive jail ship. Following his interstellar escapade, he lands on Earth to capture the Autobots. In the movie franchise, Lockdown is the primary antagonist of 2014's Age of Distinction. He was employed by the mysterious biomechanical race, the Creators, to hunt down Optimus Prime. On Earth, he appears underwater and tortures Ratchet into divulging Optimus's location. But upon being refused, Lockdown scoops out Ratchet's spark, killing him. Lockdown reappears when Optimus was engaged in battle with Galvatron and managed to incapacitate him with 2 missile strikes, following which Optimus was taken hostage because those who created him wanted him back, explained Lockdown. In their final battle, Lockdown clearly had the upper hand and stabbed Optimus with his own sword, pinning him to a wall. It required the combined efforts of the human protagonists to distract Lockdown and free up Optimus in the process. Bumblebee intervened, only to get his butt kicked and be flung in the air. Lockdown met his end when Optimus launched a surprise attack, piercing him with his sword and dragging it through his head. Lockdown is mostly concerned with his own conquests, showing his disgust at getting involved in the Cybertronian War. Autobots, Decepticons are like little children, always fighting, making a mess of the universe. Then I got to clean it up. Lockdown sports a super cool design with its face transforming into a Cybertronian cannon equipped with long-distance lasers and camera, and an obscene amount of firepower. Lockdown is equipped with missile launchers on its shoulders, a set of metal transfiguration grenades, a spark extractor gun, and an armored hook. Lockdown's grenades shroud the opponent in fireworks before reducing the victim to ashes in one single blast. Lockdown's biggest strengths are his excellent combat skills and shrewd approach to fighting. He has no room for mercy and scoffed at Optimus for his generosity. You saved the human instead of saving yourself. You bring shame upon us all. Grimlock. Lockdown's conquests introduced us to another race of Transformers, the Dinobots in Age of Extinction. The leader of the Dinobots was Grimlock, a legendary Cybertronian knight who wields a spiked spear and a spiked club. He is gigantic in size, even compared to Optimus Prime, and on Earth, he transforms into a robot incarnation of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Grimlock's presence was first revealed when Lockdown captured Optimus Prime and explained that his ship houses all his prized conquests, including the legendary Dinobots. When Lockdown's army was busy taking down the Autobots, Optimus released the Cybertronian warriors from their entrapment on Lockdown's ship and invited them to fight alongside the Autobots with this pep talk. Legendary warriors, the powers that created us now want us all extinguished. We must join forces or else forever be their slave. So today, you stand with us or you stand against me. Only together can we survive. Let me lead you. Upon awakening, Grimlock instantly attacked Optimus and transformed into a fire-breathing T-Rex with menacing horns, prompting Drift to say, "Oh no, I was expecting a giant car." Optimus managed to convince Grimlock and lead his dinosaur incarnation into the battle scene, where Grimlock single-handedly finished off many of the Decepticons. Interestingly, Optimus Prime, with a sword in hand, riding the Dinobot leader, reminds us of the axe-wielding Kong riding Godzilla on their way to battle in the New Empire. Following the showdown with Lockdown, Grimlock joined Team Autobots and relocated to the human protagonist Cade Yeager's scrapyard in the 2017 movie The Last Knight. As a Dinobot, he loved to chew on the local sheriff's vehicle. Once the Decepticons got a whiff of their hideout, Grimlock launched an underground attack to take down the convoy of the Transformer reaction forces. He also fought off Megatron, Nitro Zeus, and Dreadbot before unleashing his might on the Decepticons, prompting them to retreat. Grimlock is one of the most powerful Transformers, possibly rivaling the might of Optimus Prime and Megatron. In his bot form, Grimlock is an excellent combatant, fighting almost like a samurai with his club and spear. In his T-Rex form, Grimlock devours his opponents like he snapped up the Decepticon Dreadbot like a treat. He attacks with his spiked tail, which we see when he swatted Barricade and slammed Megatron into the ground. Grimlock loves to stomp on and chomp on his opponents, often reducing them to ashes with his fire breath. Devastator. Now comes Devastator, who featured in a 6-minute-long scene in Revenge of the Fallen, which would make you forget when blinking. This jumbo-sized Transformer was a combo of not 2, not 3, not even 4 or 5, but of 8 Decepticons. He was described by Agent Simmons as the mother of all non-biologicals, getting ready to blow up our sun. Following Megatron's orders, a Decepticon convoy of Mixmaster, Scavenger, Scrapper, Hightower, Scrap Metal, Overlord, Longhaul, and Skipjack assembled in Egypt and transformed into the Devastator for a full 40 seconds on screen. Its head and neck comprised of a cement mixer, while its torso was a hydraulic mining excavator. For arms, Devastator had a front loader, a truss crane, and a bulldozer with a shovel. With its vortex grinder, the Devastator generated an artificial black hole, dragging everything, including cars, structures, and the Autobot mudflap, into its spiked propellers and shredding them out from the back. The increasing whirring noise got louder and louder with each of his transformations, and ended with a scary roar. However, Mudflap escaped its shredder of a mouth and burst out of its face, saying, "You're never eating me, I'm gonna bust your face up." Launching wayward missiles to fight the twins, Mudflap and Skids, Devastator shifted his attention to Megatron's orders of unveiling the Star Harvester from inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. The colossal Decepticon scaled the pyramid with its chained harpoons, much like Doc Ock climbing the high-rises in Spider-Man movies. Devastator shredded off the pyramid with its driller, prompting Simmons to request the military to launch their super-classified railgun. One shot brought the Devastator down, but the destruction it caused, reshaping a pyramid in the process, is unparalleled, even by Transformers standards. Scourge. My master grows hungry. Give me the transwarp key and he will spare your home. That's Scourge intimidating the Maximals for the transwarp key, which will enable his master, Unicron, to reign supreme. Scourge is a vicious bounty hunter, a ruthless assassin, and the primary antagonist of the Rise of the Beasts. Scourge is the leader of the Terrorcon race of extraterrestrial robots, and for thousands of years traversed across 1,000 worlds, laying waste to those planets. Scourge originated on a planet that was destroyed by Unicron. As the lone survivor, he became a follower of Unicron and turned himself into the most dreaded hunter in the universe. He killed numerous Transformers across the galaxy and took their insignias as collectibles, placing them over his armor. In Rise of the Beasts, Scourge is tasked with seeking the transwarp key from the Transformers race of Maximals, and thus he infiltrates their world searching for the key. When some Maximals time travel to a prehistoric Earth, Scourge leads his Terracons to the humans' home planet and wages a war. Scourge is psychically tortured by Unicron, as he retrieved only half of the transwarp key, following which he returns to Earth. Optimus Prime's Autobots and Optimus Primal's Maximals unite to fight this menace and his master, the planet-devouring Unicron. Scourge becomes the only Transformer ever to have killed Bumblebee, but meets a satisfyingly gory end when Optimus chops off his arms and rips off his head. While Scourge tragically asked for reinforcements from his master, Optimus put an end to the menace, but not before retrieving Bumblebee's insignia from his shoulder. Scourge keeps an army of sweeps, which are mechanical, six-legged scorpion-like insects to sniff out enemies and intimidate opponents. When Scourge's sweeps crawled onto Mirage, he fought them off and exclaimed, "Get off me! I hate spiders!" In addition to his cunning and bloodthirsty nature, Scourge fought with the Dark Blade, a two-bladed sword attached to its arm, which was strong enough to resist a blow from Optimus Prime's axe, and with which Scourge stabbed the Maximal leader, Apelink. Scourge had a whirring electric claw for an arm, with which he sliced through Apelink's shoulder. Scourge was mighty enough to incapacitate Optimus for a while, telling him, "And you call yourself a Prime? Primus would be ashamed." Scourge pierced Bumblebee with his Dark Blade and blasted him off with his Ion Cannon, thus adding a Prime insignia to his collection. Optimus Primal. Next up, we have Optimus Primal, the leader of the Maximals, who are an advanced race of Transformers from the future. Optimus Primal switches between his robot mode and a gorilla form, both of which make him a formidable opponent. In Rise of the Beasts, he introduced himself to Scourge as, "I'm the Maximal that's going to rip out your spark." As one can surmise, this Maximal warrior was named after the Autobot chief Optimus Prime, which the Maximal leader considers to be an honor. In Rise of the Beasts, when Unicron's army of Terrorcons and Predacons, led by Scourge, attacked the homeworld of the Maximals, Optimus Primal sought refuge on Earth to protect the transwarp key. In time, the Maximals, led by Optimus Primal, befriended the humans and coexisted with them for centuries. When Unicron destroyed our world, we took an oath dedicated to the preservation of life, no matter the cost. And Earth has been a safe refuge. That's how the Maximal leader explained the story behind Earth being their new home. When Scourge tracked down the key all the way to Earth, Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime joined forces to defeat this otherworldly enemy and his master. In the clash that ensued, Optimus Primal was forced to sacrifice his ally Air Razor, who was corrupted by Scourge and attacked its very own fellow Maximals. In the movie's final showdown, Optimus Primal exhibited his animalistic instincts by pounding the Terracorn Battletrap with his wrecking ball. Optimus Primal also arrived just in time to save his Autobot counterpart, who was about to perish in the imploding Transwarp portal. Once Unicron was defeated, the Maximals returned to their stomping ground in the jungles of Machu Picchu in Peru. Having forged an unbreakable alliance with the Autobots, Optimus Primal promised to reappear if Unicron was to emerge once again. In his gorilla form, Optimus Primal is 13 feet tall with fists the size of boulders. Owing to Primal's raw strength, the thumping of his gigantic feet can generate devastating shockwaves. Despite his thundering beast mode, Optimus Primal has excellent agility and survived a deadly fire breath from Airraiser. In his robot form, Optimus Primal can deploy a pair of sharp blades from his arms, slicing through his enemies.
No!
Bumblebee. Well, look who we have here. Bumblebee. He's the Transformer central to the film franchise, appearing first in the 2007 Transformers movie and continuing his butt-kicking trend ever since. Bumblebee is the most popular Transformer ever, owing to his lively personality and unwavering fearlessness. Despite his smaller size compared to other Transformers, Bumblebee is undoubtedly one of the most powerful of the Autobots, having survived 6 Transformers films and even coming back from the dead in one. He is also Optimus Prime's most trusted ally, and so important to the franchise that he got an entire film all to himself. When Bumblebee was first introduced, Megatron had taken his voice box, and he communicated with his human ally, Sam Witwicky, using radio frequencies. When pitted against formidable threats, Bumblebee has fought with bravery and determination, and with his iconic plasma cannon that has incapacitated the likes of Mohawk, Nitro Zeus, and Brawl. Bumblebee's many adventurous feats include launching a deadly attack against the space sorceress Quintessa, attempting to thwart Lockdown's efforts of killing Optimus Prime, fighting baddies like Blitzwing and Rampage in close combats, and making an explosive comeback during the final battle in Rise of the Beasts. Bumblebee even fought off Optimus Prime when he was converted into an evil incarnation by Quintessa. The only opponent that Bumblebee didn't survive against is the evil Scourge, leading to the saddest event in Transformers history, the death of Bee. In his attempt to save his captain, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee got stabbed and smoked alive by Scourge. However, in the final scenes of the movie, a revived Bumblebee leaps out of the stratosphere and joins the battle against the Terracons and Predacons, led by Scourge. Throughout Bumblebee's cinematic history, he had an impressive arsenal of weaponry, most notable of them being his plasma cannons and the machine guns. In addition to these, Bumblebee has fought with shoulder rocket launchers, multi-missile launchers, laser cannons, tow guns, a battle hammer, and his crab claw. Bumblebee also has a stealth mode, which enables him to access and launch his weaponry when in his vehicle form. In his epic comeback scene, Bumblebee rained down aerial attacks on the Terracons and Predacons, and stabbed the menacing Nightbird in a mid-air fight, while dodging Scourge's fiery attacks. Bumblebee's words, "I have come here to kick ass," will forever be iconic. Starscream. Next on our list, we have Starscream, the Decepticon who swore unwavering allegiance to Megatron, despite the leader's rebuking attitude towards his subordinate. "I live to serve you, Lord Megatron," is what describes Starscream best. Starscream is the ruthless and shrewd commander of Megatron's aerial army. Operating as Megatron's second-in-command, Starscream has a school of Seekers as his personal minions, which are a group of Decepticons who share his body type. Starscream transforms into a fighter jet, and with his gamut of wild weapons is a formidable villain both in air and on the battlefield. In 2007's Transformers, when the Allspark was located, Starscream commanded the Decepticons to mobilize and free Megatron from beneath the Hoover Dam. By blending in with the military fighter jets multiple times, Starscream fooled the defense forces, destroyed their Raptors mid-air, and launched a destructive attack that immobilized Bumblebee. Starscream continued to make appearances in the subsequent films, and wreaked havoc on behalf of the Decepticons. Starscream was so mighty that he was able to face off against Ratchet and Ironhide, and score wins against both. He was reported to be deceased in Age of Extinction, following which, in the last night, Megatron discovered Starscream's severed head and kept it as a reminder of his fierce loyalty. Starscream was also iconic for being the Decepticon who loved to speak in the Cybertronian language, and for offering nuggets of wisdom every now and then, such as telling Megatron, "Not to call you a coward, Master, but sometimes cowards do survive." Starscream was a heavily weaponized Decepticon, whose most notable weapon was his missile launcher, which could be used both in his fighter jet form and robot mode. In addition, Starscream was equipped with a rotary machine gun and a plasma cannon. His incarnation in the Bumblebee movie got some cool new weaponry assigned with his subsonic ray gun and the null ray gun. Starscream getting a buzzsaw for an arm was savage, with which he frequently sliced through his enemies and obstructions. Despite his abrupt end in the Transformers franchise, Starscream will always remain a favorite of the Decepticon fans. Shockwave. Another spine-chilling Transformers villain was Shockwave, the Decepticon scientist, who was so intimidating that it was believed he could match the might of Megatron. Owing to his experiments, Shockwave had a wide range of destructive weapons at his disposal, making him the most effective killing machine in Megatron's army. Shockwave's popularity amongst the Decepticons made several of these baddies willingly want to work with him, and later in the storyline, even want to avenge his death. Shockwave was one of the 3 secondary antagonists of Dark of the Moon, who frequently instructed his followers to eliminate Autobots and leave no survivors. On the move, Shockwave transformed into an intimidating Cybertronian truck, while in his robot form, his most notable weapon was the Astromag hand cartridge cannon, in addition to missile cells and arm blade. Shockwave's most deadly creation was the Driller, which revealed its destructive might during the Decepticon invasion of Chicago. Shockwave and Driller emerged from underneath the ground to destroy an Autobot convoy, and even managed to separate Optimus from his trailer. In a visually striking sequence, Shockwave employed the serpentine mechanical driller to topple off entire high-rises in Chicago, and it required the efforts of a modified Optimus Prime to stop this threat. Once the driller was destroyed by Prime, he incurred the wrath of Shockwave, who incapacitated him briefly with his firepower, thus scoring a win against the Autobot leader. Before his eye was ripped off, Shockwave survived a few power-packed punches from Optimus Prime, in a great show of durability. Shockwave was such a thunderous Decepticon that after he was declared deceased, his remains were used by the antagonist robotics company KSI to create the Transformer 2-head. Shockwave also appeared in the Bumblebee movie to aid Soundwave and Starscream in the war on Cybertron. Blackout. Next up, we have Blackout, who is a fiercely loyal Decepticon of Megatron's army, and believed to be the third in command of the Decepticon leader. He was also the largest Decepticon, operating as their mode of transport. In 2007's Transformers, Blackout first flew into a US military base in Qatar as an unidentified helicopter. In an epic scene, the Raptor blades suddenly stopped whirring and Blackout transformed into his Decepticon persona to unleash hell on humanity. Searching for the Allspark, this Decepticon villain ripped off the roof of the bunker that housed the military's defense systems, and within seconds hacked into their network to steal classified data. However, Blackout failed in his mission when the hard lines were disconnected, shutting down the supercomputers. His failure, paired with grenades launched at him, infuriated this menacing villain, causing him to send EMP shockwaves across the military base that destroyed everything within its radius. Blackout also often carried the Scorpion robot Scorponok on his back, who he released during the same battle to do some of his bidding. Later in the storyline, Blackout targeted Sam for running away with the Allspark and had a fierce encounter with Ironhide. In addition to his energy wave cannons that generated the EMP blasts, Blackout was equipped with arm-mounted machine guns, enabling him to rain down firepower on his enemies. Blackout's arsenal also included chest cannons, rocket launchers, and photon explosive rifles. In his Decepticon form, Blackout's copter blades menacingly stuck out from his back. In close combat battles, Blackout would detach his rotor blades and use them as weapons. When Blackout harnessed his rotor blades to help Megatron fight Optimus, he was pounded by aerial attacks from the military, draining his energon. Considering Blackout was the first Transformer to appear in live action, he will always hold a special place for fans of the franchise, despite his villainous allegiance. Battletrap. Let's look at a newer antagonist in the franchise, Battletrap, who is known for being pure evil, and that's what makes him one of the toughest Transformers. Battletrap is a bloodthirsty Terrorcon who was introduced in Rise of the Beasts, and he came with a darkness quotient far greater than the Decepticons. Battletrap was one of the deadliest hunters in the universe, whose thundering stomps sounded like the death bell. Battletrap comes equipped with an electrified flail for a left hand, which is a long chain with a spiked ball at the end of it, designed to cause maximum destruction. Battletrap joined Scourge in devastating the home planet of the Maximals, a mission that forced Optimus Primal to time travel to the past. Following Scourge, Battletrap arrived on Earth looking for the Transwarp Key and encountered the wrath of the Autobots. He exhibited a number of cool moves on the battlefield. With his cunning and ruthlessness, he one-upped the team of Bumblebee, Mirage, and RC, and used his chain flail to cause a wave of destruction by aiming a stone pillar and a vehicle at the Autobots. Battletrap also stomped down on Optimus Prime while Scourge impaled Bumblebee. In another sequence, he latched himself to Nightbird, spun around while driving, and deployed a barrage of missiles to attack the Autobots. During the final clash, Battletrap rained down unlimited firepower on the Autobots, causing them to retreat. And just when Battletrap tauntingly asked for a real fight, his flail was caught by Optimus Primal, who then ripped off his arm. Despite his might and evil, Battletrap died a satisfying death when Optimus Prime sliced off his leg and Optimus Primal pounded him to rubble with Battletrap's own wrecking ball. Battletrap, with his humongous size, was indeed the strength of the Terrorcons and the muscle of Scourge's army.
My weapons specialist, Ironhide. You feeling lucky, punk?
Ironhide. You feeling lucky, punk? Remember how Ironhide attempted to scare Sam during their first encounter in the debut Transformers film? Ironhide was also the one who wanted to get rid of Sam's very talkative parents, jokingly asking Optimus, "The parents are very irritating. Can we take them out?" Ironhide was one of Optimus Prime's most trusted friends, and the Autobots' weapons specialist. Owing to his huge bulk and cool structure, Ironhide appeared to house enough Transformer parts to generate an army of his own. Ironhide's collection of weapons has saved the day in many Transformers battles, and solidified his position as one of the most powerful Transformers in the franchise. During the final battle in the 2007 film, it was Ironhide who identified the defense helicopter was actually Starscream in disguise, and prevented a massacre by shielding the innocents, however, getting wounded in the process. Ironhide also protected Sam from the Decepticon forces when he attempted to escape with the Allspark. Later, Ironhide became part of an Autobot unit that hunted down Decepticons on Earth. In Dark of the Moon, Ironhide was a significant inclusion in the Autobots and Humans squad, which destroyed a team of Decepticons who smuggled extraterrestrial weapons to the humans. Ironhide, whose fiery spirit could not be dampened even when Crowbar stabbed him, was defeated when betrayed by his trusted ally Sentinel Prime. Just when Ironhide swore to protect Sentinel Prime, the ancient Autobot revealed he had sided with the Decepticons and shot Ironhide in the back with his cosmic rust cannon. As the weapons specialist of the Autobots, Ironhide loved to show off his collection, which included energy cannons, radical missile launchers, double beam cannons, and arm guns. In addition to this deadly firepower, Ironhide could generate electrical ground blasts with the weapons in his fission chamber. Ironhide was one of a kind, but his storyline hinted that unlike other Autobots, he could never be resurrected.
No prisoners, only trophies. Why did you...
Soundwave. Last, but definitely not least, we have Soundwave reporting for Megatron. a transformer who could convert into a satellite to roam around in Earth's atmosphere and transfer intel to the Decepticons. Sounds pretty savage, right? Soundwave operated as the head of communications for the Decepticons and is the most trusted subordinate of Megatron. This antagonist not only spies on the Autobots, but also on his fellow Decepticons and informs Megatron about their disloyal behavior. Soundwave may not have engaged in combat as much as the other Decepticons, but he indeed served Megatron in an ingenious way by being vigilant through his satellite network. On a lighter note, in Dark of the Moon, Soundwave witnessed the breakup between Sam and Carly, listening through the satellite, and even called up Sam's mother, asking for his whereabouts in a wretched mechanical voice, prompting her to say, "I'm not impressed with your perverted mouth breathing." When Sam was eventually tracked down in Egypt, Soundwave summoned the Decepticons to arrive there, and in an epic move, he blocked the satellites around Egypt to conceal the Decepticons' attack on the pyramids. Soundwave could sort out millions of satellite data streams, thus enabling him to take over all communications of an entire planet if need be. As Megatron's staunchest supporter in Dark of the Moon, Soundwave sent his minion Laserbeak to procure the information that Optimus has found the lost Autobot Ark on the Moon, along with Sentinel Prime in it. During the Decepticon invasion of Chicago, Soundwave took several Autobots hostage and even attempted to finish off Bumblebee. In his robot form, Soundwave's Decepticon armor was equipped with deadly weapons such as a sonic cannon, a Soundwave blast, the twin-turbo wave pistols, and car-killer tentacles. Outro. With that, we come to the end of our video, and we hope you enjoyed it. Which of these Transformers are your favorites? Are you Team Decepticon or a fan of the Autobots? Please tell us in the comments below. And if you liked our video, please give us a shout out and watch this space for more marvelous content.